Hey, okay, so now I'm gonna try going over just at least two games for review for a new. See how far through each one I get. But see how this goes. So first, sideboarding in this matchup. What I was trying then was two of every Evo, two instants, two of each steel cell. That way to try getting to 4 Evos as fast as possible, no matter which type of Evo it was, because I was considering that as being the main win con. At the moment, I'm currently considering just adding 20 Evos to the deck for the new matchup, and seeing whichever one you get first, having a higher density, and since you're not afraid to block the matchup. Okay, so here, I pitch Singularity to the bottom so that I can know where it is in the deck, and then I equip it so that after I resume turn, if need be, I can still block with 2 cards. Yeah. I'm taking the dagger because even if I get punished with this, for example, if I blocked the dagger, I would have taken 3 damage from the CNC. Even not blocking the dagger, I still took 3 damage, so it doesn't matter either way. See, this turn I think I just equipped the head and pass. I think that I should have actually pitched the War Machine to keep it in the deck, and then, well, there's no good way to do that, because I don't want either one of the other 2 cards in hand. Here though, I think I actually do make a mistake. Let's see. So he attacks with dagger. Not all news are on shred, so it's usually safe to block with Evos, but that's usually if you know that they're not on shred. If they are on blue shreds, it's better to like wait and actually see them play them out, and figure out where they are in the deck. So what I should have done there is block with the throttle first, since my hand is pretty much all 2-3 costs plus the 0 to 60 in the throttle. So right now, him throwing something that is actually hand disruption means that if he takes 0 to 60, I can't do anything at all on my turn. And I can't block this either, because most of his buffs are +3s. So what I should have either done was 3-card block this surgical extraction, or I should have blocked the first thing with the throttle so that even if he took something, I could have done a 2-card play on my turn. So this was a misplay on my part. Yeah, he's going to take the 0 to 60 wave, which is the correct decision. Yeah, I ended up passing the turn with the throttle in hand still. So when faced with something like Persuasive Prognosis, I try to consider okay, he hasn't played any reactions yet. This is his first attack during the turn. He's going to have a +3 buff. So can I still play my turn if he, for example, takes the blue throttle from my hand? Which he... Let's see. Oh, another thing there is I shouldn't have banished the legs from my hand first. The thought was oh, if he banishes a red off the top, I'll just banish a red and I can still play the legs. But if he banishes a blue and then I banish the throttle, I barely have a turn at that point. So I can still just play the zipper hit, but what I really wanted to be doing is equipping the Evo. So let's see. Yeah, I now have everything in banish that I need to. Yeah, I decided that he's not playing shreds at that point, so I risk blocking with the head. And I'm deciding if I actually want to keep my arsenal. Sadly, my arsenal is not important enough. Because my turn, I think I'm going to try double equipping Evos. This kind of ruins that plan slightly. Yeah. Yeah. I let it hit because there is just a chance that does nothing, but like worst case is he has one resource floating, so he can threaten a +3 buff, so I'd have to block with 2 cards to actually guarantee that it won't hit. So since there's no guaranteeing that it won't hit unless I block with 2 cards, I decided I'm just going to take the damage. Because my turn, yeah, I'm going to instant equip the legs from Banish. Yeah, the legs first, because then if I draw a boost, I can immediately after then boost, then use the Cogwick Space Chest, then equip the second. Here, since I had the 2 floating, I can still go again into equipping the chest. And then arsenal the Fabricate is great, especially in this situation, because I can just use the 1 block to use the arms to block the Mistblade. I'm decently sure that he's not playing any shreds, so that is why I blocked for that. And I think I should have just used the head, but it honestly just equals out to the same damage at this point, so it's okay. Yeah, and this is a good turn for me because on Shimu's turn he only threatened vanilla damage. Like, nothing was an assassin attack, and this is just a 1 for 5. I just block with the arms because I don't need a second blue pretty much, and if I want to pitch a blue to keep damage in deck, I'd rather pitch a blue that is a boost or an attack. And I can't equip any new arms since I played it on base. I boost twice just to see if I can get an evil recall or get other stuff into Banish that I might want to play. Like, I'm at this point where he's at 24 life, I'm at 20 life. I'm not actually worrying about fatigue being an option. Oh. And right there, I block with the chest because even if he is playing Shred at this point, since he didn't have it the last turn that I risked it, I could play the Heart Drive over the chest to save it from the Shred actually destroying it at the combat chain closing. So that's why I chose to block with the chest over the legs. I think that I'm considering too using the, if I need to use the Fabricate, I'm probably going to use the Banish Draw plus the +1. So first I'm just going to block this with Firewall. And I'm blocking with the Short Circuit, just like to kind of like telegraph and threaten the other. Though, even if I'm deciding for Fabricate. Fabricate's not going to cover the actual breakpoints that he's giving for this. So if I do actually block the Fabricate, it might just not be enough value. Yep. So if I get to keep my entire hand, I just really want a blue and yeah, just a blue in the Twin Drive, honestly. So yeah, Command and Conquer is a very easy play Fabricate out. Banish Draw and +1 would be the correct play. And then, let's see. Should I draw? So my turn is probably just going to be pitch Zipper hits to use the leveler and then go into throttle. And I'm going to banish Twin Drive here because it's just 1 less damage than the other play that I can do. Because since we're so close in left totals, I'm basically just trying to play for like the value or like what turn cycle has better math. Hoping that I can draw some 9 overpower cards soon. And I'm also just, I think boosting there was wrong. I really just want to draw my tanks and I haven't seen a lot of them yet, so I should be getting closer to them, theoretically. I've gone through more than half of my deck. It's turn 6, so let's see. 24 plus all the cards I've banished. I've basically gone through like three quarters of my deck at this point. I don't think that I've seen that many tanks yet, so I should just not boost and be expecting to draw them soon. Or the ones that I haven't seen. Here, I think the best call is just block Firewall Pass. Okay, so there's a tank on the bottom of my deck, so in a few turns, or at the 20s, the 27th card of my deck is a tank right now. Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna banish Evo Recall. Which will be relevant here. So, okay. What I should have done in response to him activating new is play Evo Recall. Because now I've lost a priority window where he can, if he wants to, play Evo Recall himself from my banish zone at instant speed. I think that on his end though, he also messed up and he passed back priority first. So now again, I have the chance to, I need to play Evo Recall. I'm basically just, because I know that he's going to try playing out all my instant speed Evos from banish, because there's no reason that new wouldn't at this point. So now his correct play would have been play out the hard drive in response to me playing that up. Yeah, for this I think I just take it. Yeah, like I think that maybe what he's waiting for is for me to like try to instant speed Teklo, but there's no reason for me not just to like play the better math play of 2-card 8 here. And I'm not going to boost, of course, because my next card is a Terminator tank. Okay, so it's turn 7. There's, from cards in banish, I've had 17 cards banished. 7 times 4, 28 plus 14. In a few turns, I should be drawing into Singularity as well, because I pitched at the very beginning of the game, and I didn't actually shuffle my deck at all since then. So a secondary thing that I'm just waiting for is I will be drawing Singularity soon. And also, right here, playing that is perfect, because 5 blocking A2 break, and all of his buffs are +3. So that's why I chose just like 1 card block instead of 2, because it would cover the perfect +3 buff breakpoint, unless he used his arms, but he can't. He can try to not use his arms for as long as he wants, and I think at that point I'm just fine with it. They're being threatened, but I can't play around them forever. Thankfully he didn't try to use his arms and like get it, play +3 buff and get the prognosis that persuasive prognosis to hit. So me being able to just swing Terminator tank here when I should be drawing Singularity in the next 2 turns is actually pretty big, because I will be able to kind of take back tempo and force him to block a bit more. I'm very happy with this play, because a 2-card hand from new isn't actually that threatening. Like at most they're going to maybe threaten an attack. He's threatening Tunic, which means that he is still threatening a +3 buff. But this one doesn't have any bad on hits itself. Okay, I want to Arsenal to Fabricate, because let's say I do like draw into Singularity, it lets me just keep up the tempo and block with all my equipment instead of anything from hand. I'm happy with this, honestly, because him going down to 4 also means that most tanks will just kill him. Anything that I draw. So this was a weird situation, I think. Remembering what happens now. So after I pitched Singularity in the beginning, I pitched a War Machine like right after it as well. So I know in like the next hand or two, I have War Machine coming up and I have Singularity coming up, but Singularity first before the War Machine. So, and we're both getting really low in life totals. So the thing about Singularity is you need a pretty strong, like, in order to actually play it, you need to be able to like not block for an entire turn, so you need a health buffer first. I block with the Harpoon too because with the cost of everything in my hand, I can't actually play out the Harpoon in my hand. Because it'll be caught with the one blue, I can play Leveler, Twin Drive, and T-Bone, and then the Harpoon will be like the odd resource out, and I'm not worrying about arsenaling right now, since I'm just preserving life totals. Okay, so if I do boost this turn, there is a really high chance that I will boost Singularity. If Shamir doesn't block this turn, or doesn't block with everything though, then I'm not sure what could be happening. So yeah, there it is. I boost away Singularity because I need to make him block with more than just one card from hand. And if I don't, I think I just lose. But this will at least cause one more card block, or a block with Mask. So it seems that Shamir chose to like block with those instead. That means he's just gonna pass back. So any hand that I draw with the War Machine next and like 8 boost cards should be able to go wide and finish off the game. Because I know that I'm drawing the War Machine right after the Singularity. Consider the turn every tank, but then 14 cards left in deck, which means that there is a War Machine coming up in a few hands afterwards, because that one that was bottomed by the firewall. Okay, this is where I get all of his equipment. Evil Speed Slip is actually really good right here. Should let me get a second action point. Like I'll see what I actually did in a sec. But a line that I could have taken is Leveler into Throttle boosting into Liquid Cool boosting after playing the Speed Slip into Liquid Cool. Maybe just playing the Speed Slip wouldn't need to boost one of those attacks. Yeah, I just let him play it out. So I don't have to block here, but I think I play it safe and I block, even if I didn't need to. Yeah, actually, I think the playline of Speed Slip into Double Mayhem and Leveler would have, if I didn't block that Throttle, I think doing the double Liquid Cooled would have guaranteed that I win the game this turn, more so. But I was just trying to preserve life totals. Let's see. 8, 11. If I win here, it's because he had a transcendent hand. Which means that I should have taken... Yeah. So I should have taken the other playline, honestly. But it still worked out. Let's see. And before I stop this video, I think I'm actually going to try going over one more game. It's a game that I actually had this morning. So here I'm trying out a sideboard of increasing my evo count up to 20, so I'm just playing 3 of every steel soul and 2 of each instant one, and also playing 2 sync belows, just to help be able to, if you can like sandbag one of them in arsenal to cover one of the attack reactions further down the line. Let's see, I was playing 1 engine in this matchup too. If I remove the sandbags from the list, it's just to add the engine. So here, I want to arsenal the throttle since it's something that I can actually play off another hand. And I'm just playing out the steel soul. Yeah, so drawing into this 4 red hand is never fun, but it means that I can still, like, if I block with everything, I can still do something. So yeah, so it's so early in the game, I do decide to block the Mistblade with the throttle because he could just be able to have 2 other blue stealth cards in hand otherwise. But alas, it's a command and conquer. So here I block with, yeah, Harpoon and Controller. What's going through my head for that block is there's no reason to block with the Firewall yet, and I'm probably going to shuffle my deck at some point using Cogworks base head. So if I keep that and the Terminator tank, which is just like extra damage, I should be fine, and I can just on my turn use the play the throttle, no boost since I'm playing the 2 sinks in my deck at the moment, and just threaten 6 after taking 0. So like approaching this game much more like mathematically, like it's the better turn cycle. Yeah, I'm happy with him blocking. Here I think I want to just equip the processor, but I don't want to just take all the damage. So what I was considering doing is blocking with that and the zipper hit, which I think I will block with the zipper. And I want to T-bone boost into pitch the short circuit to Cogworks base chest and then play the processor. I think that this play was a bit greedy though with the sinks in deck, because I boost a sink. And now there's no way for me to play the Cogworks base legs. So I will just end up pitching the short circuit to Teklo and then passing with the processor and arsenal. Okay, and now with this Eradicate coming through, it's turn 4, my hand is 4 blues, which does mean, like, just a hand of 3 blues means that you can double equip an Evo on your turn if you do one as instant speed and then you draw blue afterwards. So that means that I need to get Evos in my banish. I have a nice amount of health right now, so I'm thinking I don't mind taking damage, so I just decided to declare no blocks at first. And him buffing up the Eradicate to 10 actually, it was nice. I actually didn't mind this at all because I was just trying to get Evos in banish and I didn't care what got in banish because of the recall in hand. So here, yeah, getting legs in banish and then him following up with a leave with no witnesses, banishing the processor and arsenal. Like in Arsenal or in Banish, it's pretty much the same thing when you're just wanting to play the instant speed. So the cool thing with this play now is I'm gonna pitch processors to Teklo, then pitch zipper hit and tower to play one of the legs. And then if I draw a blue, I'm going to consider using that to play out the other one, the second one. Okay, so I draw a blue. I can play out that, or I can play recall, give my leveler a go again, and then be able to equip that afterwards and be at 4 evos and still threaten 2 damage. So I am going to do that, and I'm just going to grab back Singularity just so that it's in my deck pretty much. Because not only am I like fully equipped, but most of my evo slots equipped are just steel. They're all steel souls except for my head. If I were in a situation where I was at almost fully equipped on turn 4 and there's like 3 slots for like the new instant speed evos, I would have instead grabbed back the engine, because then just instead of Singularity, the only thing that really matters is having more 9 overpowered cards in my deck. But because of the circumstances, getting back Singularity was actually a better card, and it's just like a stronger bomb if you have Steel Souls equipped. And like, I haven't drawn any yet, but if I drew more tanks and could get them to graveyard instead of banish, getting the recurrence on the arms for two of them is actually really strong. So I think here, let's see what I do. Also, it's only turn 5, so I was tempted to play out the Singularity, but I think doing so would be a really big mistake, because there's still such a strong chance I'm just going to draw nothing but reds like consecutively, which will probably lose me the game if that's actually the case. I'd pretty much only deal like 6 damage to him this turn, and then he'd stay at 30 life and be able to fatigue me easily, since with reactions he can block 9 overpower with not that much effort. So in order to just keep my 4 card hands pretty much, I decided not to actually use Singularity yet, and to see if I can pretty much just use it to abuse the 9 overpowers on tanks later on in the game. Okay, yeah, there's no meaningful on hits for this one, which is why I'm taking it. And I think that I'm trying to think of like what I want to do on my turn. Because I can pitch a blue. So if I pitch Singularity, I could play Zipper Hit and Leveler and Throttle all on the turn, and threaten 12 damage at least, which is 12 damage off a 4 card hand is like just perfect amount of value. Another play I could do though is block here with the memory, not take damage, and then wait. I don't think it's correct for me to block here though. Well, maybe I was just thinking that I don't want to take more damage from here. Yeah, so I think at this point I've decided that I'm going to Arsenal Singularity. It's kind of a win more at the very moment, and I don't need it, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. Not boosting because there's no reason to. So now, like, if I can just protect Singularity and Arsenal for a few turns, I should be fine to play it a few turns later. He's played 1 Leave No Witnesses, 1 CNC, and if I kind of sandbag a card in Arsenal for a bit, he can't get me with any Codex plays since he hasn't really played any yet. So with this hand, all I really need to do is like I intend to just block with 2 Steel Soul Memories and then send War Machine for 9. So I'll block with the chest, I think, since I can save it if I need to with the hard drive in hand. Here. Yeah, I think I wanted to just block 6. I should have blocked 6 though. Oh, so he has tuning up. But, so like he could +3 this one. But I think I was trying to, this play I took it a bit greedily. And I should have blocked with the second memory instead of. So here actually I'm checking to see if what he's targeting with the shred, because I thought that he was targeting for a second the processor, which is also on the defending chain. But since he didn't, that means he just really wants us to hit. Otherwise he could have targeted the processor and then forced me to play the hard drive. And it hurts a bit that he hit another one off the top. So I decided I'm going to level her into equip legs, because it's the best play you can do here with 2 blues in hand, honestly. Technically, if I actually do end up flipping Singularity, it gives me more gas for later. That way I don't run out of soul for coming attacks. Okay, so now this hand is, it's interesting. It doesn't really do anything except for attack for leveler for 3 or block. So again, I think I'm gonna block this with my processor, thinking, okay, I have a second chance where I can just save it. Or no? I think that wouldn't have been bad if I did so. Maybe I'm considering that he's pitched a blue already. I'm not sure how bad of something he could do. Gonna block the firewall. And if he buffs it up enough, I'm gonna also block the sync, since he'd need to play one of those +3 buffs and something else probably to be able to get it to actually hit. And I don't mind if he hits it either the Evos if he buffs it up enough. Yeah, it's the perfect chance to banish the hard drive from my hand, because it doesn't block and it doesn't do anything else. See? Yeah. Okay, so interesting. So I think I banished the controller because I was thinking that if I had to play one of them, or I wanted to like refresh any of my armor, I'd rather just play that. Yeah, and I see with the firewall that there's the arms on top, so I just sink the chest so I draw the arms. But if I did do it the other way around, I would have been able to play out the controller. Or not controller. I mean, like, I would have been able to block the final attack with the controller, but attacking for 3 is not bad since I'm just trying to close the life gap slowly at this point. Yep. Getting more gas for if I get to flip Singularity, and just blocking with my Evo Recall, since it's a good chance to do so. And now, if this isn't something that's threatening, which it isn't, he chose Go again, which made me hesitant to block with armor, but I decided I'm just going to block with chest and arms, since it will still just cover it perfectly. And now, no cards in arsenal, no cards in hand, no tuna counter up, leave no witnesses, just being able to block it out with an Evo is actually a really nice play. Like, he hasn't been able to threaten my arsenal enough yet. I'm not worried about... Okay, so I boost the T-Bone because now both the things are out of my deck. And I will guarantee hitting one of his mask or his tunic. Like, I had the option to keep more cards in my deck, so if I boost it and play it, I threaten 3 damage, take one of his equipment, and I keep more cards on my deck, so I have less worry for fatigue. If I choose, I'm more worry for fatigue. If I choose to pitch it to Leveler, I still threaten 3 damage, so same amount of damage, but I don't take any of his equipment. So I decided, like, at this point in the game, I'm just going to take one of his equipment while I can, and hopefully getting rid of the tunic should give me a lot of value in the long run, assuming that the game goes on another like 7 turns. Now this, I felt nice about playing because I can actually force him to not have a 4-card hand for like the first time in like several turns. Hopefully that should be like a good enough pivot point. And he decides to take the entire damage, which just perfectly closes any amount of life gap or life that he had. So this one, I'm probably not covering the breakpoint if I block it. He is going to take a card. So I think the real discussion is like, does he take Throttle or War Machine? Or do I block with War Machine? Because he's going to give it a +3, so it's coming for 7 practically. Yep. So I chose to block with the 2 reds and then kind of like put him in a situation where he wanted to take Throttle. That way I still keep damage in my deck. Even though I think that there is a... Oh. Which he decided not to. Which is probably the better play on his part. Because otherwise, if I block with War Machine, I'd at least have it like be a recurable target when I actually play Singularity, if I play Singularity. But I'm also now at this point relying on Singularity since his deck does have like 6+ Arsenal hate cards if you count the card X's. And finally, I think I'm thinking here that I wouldn't mind playing Singularity if I get the chance. And he's starting off with an E-Strike, which means that he's not really threatening any on hits. So I decided not to actually block the generic damage with my tower in case he comes with like a CNC or like some other generic damage afterwards. Or like a leave no witnesses threatening a +3 buff that then I could block with the legs and throttle 0 to 60. Not really threatening Gogan on this because in order for this to actually have Gogan, he needed to pitch something, play a Hiss and Slither, which would take the 2 cards in hand. So I block with the Throttle because I'm deciding that I will play Singularity this turn. It will deal 12 damage pretty much. And when it deals 12 damage, or threatens 12 damage at the very least, like I will have the 0 to 60, which will also be playable on the same turn depending. Since it's just a 0 for 4 go again, doesn't need to boost anymore. So I attack with Teklovossen first, because I want to see if he's going to block with stuff. If he blocks with most of his hand and then just doesn't really have a turn afterwards, I'm not going to play 0 to 60. If he decides not to block with his hand and it's just like taking 12 damage, I'm going to send 0 to 60 to force him to block with the last card. Because that way I can try, I don't have the 5 intellect combo off turn after since I had an Evil Recall equipped. So this is the main combo turn and every other turn is slightly more fair after this one. So I just need to hope that I draw good cards after this one. And I haven't really been paying attention to this game too much to actually setting up a pitch stack. And I haven't seen that many tanks besides the one, like 5 in my banish out of my 7 tanks being played. I think there's 5 in banish at least. Okay, so with this hand, he's threatening nothing else. I just block with Teklovossen. Like, at most he could threaten a intstead and using the mask, but then I just banish Fabricate from hand. So now my turn is going to be 0 to 60, 0 to 60 Teklovossen, Arsenal Fabricate. Each 0, if he lets both 0 to 60s through, he's going to basically be forced to block with his like last cards in hand. Okay. I'm not sure if he should have blocked with mask on the first one. I think he should have blocked with card from hand for the first one, then waited to see this. Okay, so now if he doesn't want to die, he does have to block with 2 cards from hand. Or 1 card from hand at least, if it's a 3 block. And I think that he made a misplay, or he didn't read one of the cards, and he thought that Teklovossen had. So like he's going to accidentally die here, and then I'm gonna just basically make him undo. He redoes the discard, discards the Codex, which is a better play, and then blocks 6 for the other 2 cards. I'll get to Arsenal to Fabricate, which is really good for being able to, like, if I need to filter a card from my hand, I can, and if I need to make Teklovossen block an extra 1, I can too. And like, this hand is kind of awkward, so I'm just going to pitch the overpitch, because I don't want the red throttle in hand for next turn, and just send this for 9. He'll be able to 3-card block, and I'll just pass back. And then 3-card block, and then I'll be able to block Teklovossen, and then he'll pass back. Oh wait. Oh yeah, I don't think that he had another react. That was the max that he could block with that, because of the overpower. So threatening no real like actual reactions, I just block with Teklovossen, and then on my turn I get to pitch Firewall the Harpoon and then pitch Teklo afterwards. Still really good because forcing a 4-card block, so I think that I just guarantee winning this turn because of the breakpoint, unless he has a Sink Below for the first card. If he doesn't have a Fate Foreseen or Sink Below, this will be a guaranteed lethal hand. Or he needs a React in Arsenal. He didn't. He had a 2-card block this one. Yep. And yeah, there's just a Nick in Arsenal. Well, honestly, New is a pretty hard matchup. I think it depends so far on how early you hit your evos and which evos you're hitting, but as soon as you're able to like start sending tanks or like consistently getting damage through on their side, it gets a lot better. But when playing towards the out, you don't often like get to the point of you're going to fatigue or they're going to fatigue. Most games that I end up finishing, it's super swingy and it's usually ending with both of us at like 20 cards in deck. So yeah, there is a quick review of 2 of my new games, and I hope that it helps.